let's get start demo first of Firebase hosting with the Angular app. So this is one application. If you see, this is a deploy in our Firebase hosting, which is completely free, and this is a simple application of Angular, so that we can understand okay how we can easily deploy. So this is the that, and then if you want to see, so see this is that our console Firebase console app, and here our hosting domain URL which is provide our Google Firebase, right? So these are things actually we will deploy, how we can easily deploy our Angular app in our Firebase hosting. So let's get start implementation. So before implementation, I'm especially recommend, if you first time visit my channel, so go to my channel which is a .NET real world example, and I'm especially recommend you have to watch few things about that Firebase, Google Firebase, how is working, and also see these are Firebase hosting which I covered in my some of the session, which is a normal web application, right? Just simple as a static application, so that I just hosting in our Firebase. But yeah, you can refer this one so that you can get idea how is that. And also I just make it custom domain after that deployment, how we can change it as a custom domain, so that also you can refer this guy. So these are things actually you can refer, then move it to for here. So what you need to do first, so go to your first, actually you have to go to that console Firebase uh, site, right? So where you have to go, console firebase.google.com, this is that site, right? And you have to just logged in, right? Whatever your uh, Google credentials with, you have to just logged in. So I logged in with this user, and this is that complete UI of that Google Firebase. So there is a two way, either you can just create a app directly over here, or while deploying your Angular app or any app, so you can just create it over here. So don't worry about that, I'll just show you both way. So first what I will do, I have to just create a new app. So let me create a app, for example, Angular app and demo, right? And then just create it and continue, and then just choose whatever default account Firebase, create it. Okay, now your app has been created, now continue. So once you continue, it will landing your this Firebase UI, right? So here what we have to do, you have to go to that build section and go to in this hosting section. So once you go to that hosting, because we are trying to do some hosting, right? So you have to just create a get started, right? So once you get started, it will actually show us like whatever actually how we can deploy. So they will give some commands and all, right? So those are things you have to do that. So first command is actually you have to just install your global Firebase tools, so that you have to install. So there's a two way, either you can install using npm, or you can just use that SDK also they provide. So I will show you with these things. Okay, so now move it to your any project. Let me create a one Angular project, right? So open an command prompt, right? So this is my command prompt. So now I move it to my folder, right? So let me clear everything. So this is my project folder, and here what I will do, I simply I have to just create a my new application, right? So I'll show you the new application, but yeah, this is similar approach to if you have a existing project, so that also you can do that. So but I'll show you over here as a new application, so that whatever challenges we face, so we can just check and we can fix it, right? So what I need to do, simply I just create Angular application. So before Angular application, you have to two things actually required. First is like, first you have to check whatever node you have installed, right? So let me check node, and then hyphen version. So this is that version we have installed. So yeah, that is fine, because this is a almost latest version, so that is fine. And now second things, you have to check your Angular, right? So Angular also, which one you have to just install, right? So let me check ng version. So also we have Angular 17c, this is that already installed. So let just, this is a normal things, right? So you can just install if it is not installed. So node and CLI, Angular CLI, these two things you have to install. So just let me install first, and then you have to just create your applications, right? So let me create like ng new Angular, whatever your project name, so you can just add it over here. Like for example, Angular Firebase hosting, right? Firebase hosting. Yeah, so Angular Firebase hosting. I'll just created a project name and then hit enter. So it will take some time to create your project. So it is just asking, okay, what are this actually style you want to use. So I will choose this guy, right? S C double S S, hit enter, and then it will asking, okay, do you want to server side rendering SSR with the static generation? Yes, I will put it as yes, and then it will start to generate or create your application. So you have to wait. Okay, now once you done, so this is complete, right? And what I need to do, we can just check simply we can check, okay, what is our application name. So my application name like this, Angular Firebase hosting, right? So let me move it to that folder, cd Angular, yeah, this guy, Angular Firebase hosting. And if I check this all the directory and files, so see, we have all this file and packages has been created. So let me open with this project in our VS Code. So what I will do, simply code dot trace, so it will open a VS Code with your project. So now this is our project, right? And it is nothing, just a simple startup project, right? Which have an src and modules and all everything, right? So I'm not going to details over here because I already covered one of the session, like how we can create Angular application and how we can, what are that file structure and all everything actually we have to create. So you can watch it that session as well. So now what I need to do, first let me run it, this application how is look like, so that I will to check. So go to the terminal and change it to that command prompt, right? It is a PowerShell, so that's also fine, but yeah, we have to change it to that guy, ng serve, right? And once we ng serve, now see, it is running on this local host, right? 422. And once I open, so it will trying to open, and this is a simple application, right? This is a startup file, right? Index file, and it is a simple, we have just set 2 3 things static, right? So like that actually, that means our application is working perfectly. So once it's confirmed, so let me cancel that. And here, now it's starting to deploy, right? So how we can deploy? So simply, if I see starting of that in session, we just create our app in our Google Firebase, right? Console Google Firebase. They will provide some tools, right? So that first we have to install this guy, right? So let me copy this guy, go back to here, and just add it over here and hit enter. Now that package installed, right? So already you have installed, so you don't require, but yeah, that is a good way to always you just try to hit first. And once you get it right, so then what is the next command you have to do? That go again there, and the next, once you click the next, you will get that here. So yeah, first you have to just authenticate in your application, like whatever VS Code or where actually you're trying to deploy, so you have to authenticate, right? So let me copy this guy. If you go back to here and just try to hit enter, so if it is already logged in, so it will just try, it will say, okay, it is logged in with this user. But yeah, if you try to first time, so it will open on a browser and asking, okay, just put your username and password. Once you know proper username and password, it will automatically logged in, and that's it, right? So like that you have to just authenticate. So once you authenticate, now you have to go to this command, like initiate Firebase, right? So just try Firebase initiate, right? Init, that will initialize, and then it is just asking few questions, right? So first is like okay, are you ready to proceed? Yes, I'm ready to proceed. So what I will do, simply yes. And then now see here, a few of the options over here, like okay, real-time database things and whatever things. So our things, like we are trying to hosting, right? So which is our options? Our option is this guy, hosting configuration file with Firebase hosting, and it is optionally to set up that GitHub links, right? So it is optionally. So how you can choose this? Let me just key down, press the key down, right? And from the keyboard, and then which option you want to select, you just press an space. So once you press space, you will get this star sign. So that's mean this option you have to select it, right? So once you select it, you just press hit enter. So once you hit enter, now it is asking to, okay, you want to use existing project. What does mean existing project? Which we already just created, right? So this is our existing project, we have to create it, Angular app demo, right? So this is our existing project over here. If you haven't create, you want to just create from here, so you can use this option, like okay, create a new project. So this is that way actually you can just create. But as of now already I've just created, so I will use this guy. Once you choose this guy, so it is asking, it will give the list actually. So whatever app you have just created in your console Firebase app, it will show you. So which one I have created? I have just created this guy, right? So Angular app demo. So let me choose this guy, right? Again, just arrow up down, you can just choose it and then select it. So once you select it, it is asking again another question. Okay, what do you want to use your public directory, right? So in our Angular app, actually we have to, our directory is called as dist, right? So like this way. So don't worry about that, I'll tell you why I'm putting the dist. So just add it as dist and then hit enter, and then it is asking, okay, configuration as a single page, right? Yes, it is a single page application, so press yes. Why, right? And then also, yeah, GitHub uh, configuration, no, I don't want to GitHub configuration, is n, right? So now see, once you completed initialization, so it is just created your configuration, like it is just just created this file, Firebase JSON file, Firebase src file, and also it is some of the configuration whatever we required, actually they just store it, right? So we are not going to that details, I already covered that, right? So what I will do now next, once you create it, right? So one more thing actually, we have to do that. So I just created dist folder, right? So why I put in a dist folder? Because once your application build, right, so it's all build or just publish, right? So it will actually create your package, right? So that package it will create in a dist folder, right, which is I just created. But yeah, automatically it will create it a dist folder, and inside that your application name, they will store all that binaries or your or packages, right? So that's why I created a dist folder. And that changes also you have to do that if you go to that angular dot json file. Let me looking that file. Okay, so yeah, angular dot json file, if you go to the directory, output directory, right? So this is that output directory. Here what you need to do, simply either you can just create a dist and then complete folder, right? That is also fine. But yeah, I will refer use only dist folder, that clean approach, right? So and let me save it. So once you save it, now go back to your here. The last command is like, what is the last command? Go to the next. The last command is finally deploy. So before deploy, actually we have a one more mechanism which is provide the Firebase hosting. You can just check it, okay, how your application actually just created, right? So how you can just check it in locally. So what you can do, and the another command is Firebase and then serve. So use that command Firebase search. So whatever actually your binary has been created, how is look likes, that you can check before deploy, so that it is actually helps to uh, provide that, right? So let me hit enter. Now see, it is just creating a package and all, and now it is giving some URL, right? So this is our URL locally running in this server. And once I just open this guy, now see, I have some issues over here, right? So in this case, what I can do, actually I just posted this application. Okay, yeah, one thing actually I missed that. Okay, so let me control C, close that. If you get this options, that means something you're missing, right? It is not completely uh, set up, right? Something is missing. So what you need to do that, simply see, I just create a folder and everything, right? So that is already created, but whatever our package, that is not actually, I just push it our publish in this folder, right? So how we can publish this package inside that? Simply you can just use ng build, right? Or just whatever environment, right? You can just create it your environment and you can just push it. So as of now it is just new application, so it does not have an environment, right? So but yeah, you can just use on a prod dev, whatever environment, you can just use it. So as of now I don't have, so what I will do, simply ng build. So once I ng build, let me see, now see, once I ng build, it is completely, it is published, right? And also see whatever things actually actually just created, see they are created all, okay, so they are created, these are files, right? These are bundles and files, right? And this is a server's file, right? Two things actually they have created, server and client side, right? Also if you see over here, so inside this folder they just created this two folder again. One is that, browser, that means this is a client side, all that binaries, all the files required the binaries, right? So that's just created for here. And then another things also just created for that server side, right? So this is a server side things actually they just created, right? So these two things actually just once you create it, now just try to this that command, right? Firebase serve, and just hit enter. And now again just let me open this guy. Now see, I'm getting this things like cannot get, right? Because see, this two folder has been, it is created, right? One is server, one is client, right? So client is where, client is inside this browser, and server is inside this server, right? So what I will do, I'll just open that client, so you have to just use that browser, right? But because it inside that browser, so once you hit enter, now see it look like this, right? So once you deploy, your application look like this. So this is just a verification, how we can verification before deploy. So this is a good things actually. So what I will do now, I will deploy finally. So let me copy this guy, right? Firebase deploy, go to your application and just control C, okay, and then Firebase deploy, and once you just deploy, it will start to deploy in your Firebase console. Now see, this there are the 16 files to deploy in this dist folder, and file completed, and these are all the step actually they shown, okay. And finally it is saying deploy completed, and then it is providing this two URL, right? So one is this URL, right? And then second is this URL. So let me copy this guy, right? Both actually fine. If you copy this guy and this guy, both is fine. So let me copy this guy and go to any browser and just hit enter, and that check it. Now see, it is saying page not found, right? This is perfectly fine because our we deployed two things, right? Servers and client. So let me quickly, simply you just put it in a browser, because in the inside this browser folder we have all these things. Now see, I have just deployed in our Angular app in our Firebase simply, right? And also we can verify from here. Now see, it is completed, right? So continue that console, and you are able to see this is your domains has been created. These two domains has been created by that Google Firebase. But yeah, we already, I just covered like how we can change the custom domain, so you can just use it this way. uh, so also you can just change it your custom domain with the Google Firebase domain, right? So now this is done. And also if you want to see what are the package and what are the things actually they're just trying to deploy, so also you can just check it, right? So if you go to that view details, now see, these are the details, like simply this time actually we deployed and deployed by this guy, right? So many things actually you can just check it. Now there's a many options you can check it, right? So let me go back again over here and see it have another option I like, that uses. So whatever uses your application, also they will provide, okay, these are that, how many traffic and all actually it have. So many things over there. So I'm not going to detail, but yeah, simply you can just deploy it. So this is done, right? So what I need to do next, okay, so simply what I will do, suppose I just need to change something, right? And then we have to deploy it again. So how we can do that, right? So go to that your application, control D or control C, right? And just change it something in our application over here. So if I go to our, yeah, src app, and this is my startup file, right? And in this startup file, it is our main component, right? App.component is the main component. So in this component what I will do, I'll just little bit want to modify over here. So let me looking for the changes. So yeah, this is that place, right? So where I want to change. So let me copy this guy and just use another things over here. For example, uh Firebase hosting with Angular 17, right? So just save it, right? Simply save it. And what I will do, again nothing I have to do, same things I need to do, just build, right, ng build, so that whatever changes I have to done, just I have to publish in our dist folder, right. So that's why I will use that ng build. Now it's published, right. So once you publish, again you can then check it in our local, like Firebase serve, right. So let me check it Firebase serve first before deploying. So now it is running in this place, and again go to that browser, and now see my new changes got reflected over here, right. So that means I'm good with that, and control C, and now we have to just deploy it. So Firebase deploy, and that hit enter. Now it is got deployed, right. And if I just hit open, try to open this guy, or just go to back to your here, just refresh. So once you refresh, you will get your new changes over here in your application, right. So like this way actually you can just uh, continue your deployment, right, from here. And yeah, so that's all for this session. And also see the whatever release, right. So that actually I want to show you. So see, the last time this two release I have done, right. So this is that last release, and this is that current release. So whatever release you will just deploy all things over here, right. So also you can manage, okay, which one you want to keep it, which one you want to, if you want to roll back, delete, whatever things, many options over here, so that you can check it, right. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Have a nice day, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more motivation.